Hi, this is part two of my life story. Okay, so I was where I got arrested in 2007. So, so a robbery happened. I was in the car, my husband was driving. Um, we didn't get caught for like a month after it happened. I was driving back from Baltimore one night, and all of a sudden these cops were chasing me, and they had guns on us, and uh, it was me and the guy who did the robbery, and then took us to jail because I already asked my husband for a divorce like a few months before that. So they took me to jail. It was 2007. Um, my house, it didn't go in foreclosure. I was actually good friends with the real estate agent who got me the house, and she was amazing. She stood up for me. The company that she was working for um, didn't like that she was helping me with that, selling the house, and she took a hit with the commission, and she sold the house so I wouldn't have a foreclosure on my record. And the company she was working for didn't like that, so she quit. But she was really happy she quit because she said that she started her own company and everything was better and stuff. So jail, yeah, that was fun. It was in Chambersburg. I was in there for 6.5 months. And that was the first time that I've gotten off of drugs. Like, ever since I started when I was smoking weed when I was 13, up until that time in 2007, I guess I was, how old was I? I was like 25, turning 26 that year. I hadn't not used drugs or alcohol for that long of a time. But when I was in jail, I had to detox off the heroin. First time I ever did that, and it was crazy. I was seeing stuff. I was talking to people who weren't there. I would wake up and I'd written like a letter to one of my family members. I had no idea writing it, and it was saying some really weird stuff. Um, I didn't eat anything for like a week. I didn't shower for a week. Well, I didn't shower for longer before that, but I was just laying in my cell, just going through withdrawal, and I finally got through it. And I think so I'm 5'9". I'm pretty tall. And when I went to jail, I was probably 116 pounds. I was bones. And by the time I left, I got some weight back. I was like probably 135, 140 pounds. And yeah, so I met some pretty interesting people when I was in jail. I got sent to the hole 3 times. I like it was ridiculous. I like fell in love with the CO. Right, I fell in love with him just because it's the first time I ever been off drugs. Like, I'm a love bug, like naturally. So I was off the drugs. And I had hearts in my eyes, and this like CO was treating me really nice, and like I think I'm the reason why he got fired because he was talking to me too much, and nothing happened in there. We were just talking too much, and so I wrote him this dirty letter, and I slipped it in his pocket, and he turned me in because he wanted to be like a lieutenant, and the lieutenant at the time is this big burly woman, and she had my letter in front of her, and she read it to me. I got in trouble. It was so embarrassing. But I got sent to the hole for a month for that, and it was cool because like that jail, it was like an old jail, and there was two sides to it. There was the side where people in the hole and medical people trying to kill themselves, and then there's the regular side for the women. And like I had a bunch of friends in that side, so they would like mush me a little Debbie and put it under my door, and like very amusing. Like jail was very amusing, and like I used to look forward to like the milk for breakfast, and one time I got this chunky milk, and it was so gross, and I was so upset, and I wrote this thing to the higher ups talking about how horrible experience the milk was, and I like demanded free milk, like a bunch of milk or something like that. But the CEOs thought it was so funny, and they like handed it around, they passed it around, and we're laughing, and the one CEO that used to come bring me food, like she would come in with the food. I'd be like, "Good morning." I'd be all like in a good mood, like I was in the hole. She was like, "Why are you so happy?" I'm like, I don't know. But I realize now it was because I was off the drugs and I'm just a happy person, and I make the best out of things, I guess. And um, yeah, it was very interesting, very interesting. Um, we used to do this thing back in middle school. If we didn't have any drugs, we'd pass each other out. It was when you would like hyperventilate and then you'd pull yourself up and then someone would push down on your chest and you'd pass out. And it was like being high and like you would wake up and you felt like it'd been days and you'd been all these places. And anyways, we used to do that in jail a lot and it was the weirdest experience. Very, very weird. I did smoke weed when I was in jail. Some of the girls were on work release and they would bring weed back in the jail, and it was so weird smoking weed in jail because like I get all paranoid on it, and you could hear the COs with their keys and it's like hiding in my bed and like they call my name on the intercom. It was so scary. But so yeah, so jail. I made some good friends in there. I mean, I don't talk to anybody now, but it was like the first time I'd become good friends with women because before that, like I hear that all the time, like girls being friends with guys, that they're easier to deal with and they're less complicated. They don't have the attitude and all that. Like being in jail and then being in recovery, like I think being friends with women is really important too because of I don't know. Guys are, I don't know. I don't know. It's just very rewarding being friends with women. So jail. So I was in jail for 6.5 months, and um, when I got out, I had to go to court and everything, and it turned out I got probation, and that's it. The guy who did the robberies got a couple years, or like got 8 years because he'd done more robberies in Baltimore. Um, and I haven't talked to him since. And then the husband I had, he wrote me this very lovely letter when I got out, saying all this stuff. And I took this red pen and I edited the letter for spelling and for punctuation, and I sent it back to him. And I never heard from him again. Thank God. But like I said, he didn't sign the papers in jail. So, and I started the divorce in jail, and apparently it's all free, even the name change back. So I did that. Heard from one of my stripper cellmates told me that, and I took advantage of that. Um, but I finally got the divorce, finally got my name back, and got out of jail, and I immediately started drinking and started using again. um, and that was the start of methadone. I was on methadone for 2 years, and then I was on Suboxone for a while, and then methadone again, Suboxone. It's like since I've been out of jail in 2007, it's been like on and off Suboxone and methadone, and trying to be clean. And um, it got really bad in probably 2000. I went to two rehabs in my life. 2011 is when I was trying to get off of Suboxone and I couldn't, so I went to a rehab to get off of it. And then I'd spent 30 days in there. And then when I got out, I immediately started shooting up again, and I OD'd a couple times. And then it was June 28th, 2013. I was coming back from Baltimore, and I was shooting up, and I do this alone a lot because I'd do it behind my boyfriend's back and stuff, steal money from him, and I was shooting up on my way back from Baltimore, and I OD'd in my car, and I ran off the road, and that was 2013, and like I woke up, and like there was all these people around the car, and this cop was knocking on the window, and I got taken away in an ambulance, and like I woke up in the hospital, and I decided that I was done. Like I didn't want to do that anymore. So I got sent to my second rehab in 2013, and it was this really beautiful place in Ephrata, Pennsylvania. And I was completely honest with myself and everybody, and I really wanted to stay off of it. And so I worked really hard in that place, and I had a ton of fun in there. It was crazy. The place used to be a hotel, and it was really cool. It was the way it was laid out. It was like where the restaurant was where the cafeteria was, and there was like this cook, and there was a vegetable garden where the patients like picked the vegetables and stuff, and then we would use the vegetables in dinner, um, and they had like cigarette machines there, and you could talk to the guys and hang out with the guys and watch TV, and like it was really it really made me want to stay clean because there's a lot of good counselors there. The counselor I had, she was, I think I was 33. The counselor I had, she was like 22, and she was like this little firecracker of a woman, and she was like making everyone cry and stuff, like telling us some reality, and it was really interesting, like what happened there with recovery. I started going to like meetings, 12-step meetings, and then when I got out, my family's like, "You're not coming back to live with me." So I did the whole recovery house thing, and I stayed clean for almost 7 years. During that time, I went back to school and I got my I got my business administration license, or not license, degree. I got my accounting degree, and I got almost all straight A's during it, and um, I really love school. I was always on the dean's list, and I graduated from the community college, and then I went online and got my bachelor's. And that was a lot of fun doing online college. Um, and after I graduated that, it was 2018 when I graduated. And then I got this job at an airport. It was like a local airport, and the guy there, he did accounting for people with airplanes. So he did all kind of stuff on their taxes to make it better for them because they had airplanes, and like they had to keep track of the mileage and how many people were, all that stuff. That was interesting. It was my first accounting job. I didn't stay there very long because I didn't really like the guy I was working for. Um, so I found this other job at it was a more public accounting place that I was there for about 3 years, and I did really well there. I got my taxes licenses, and I did a lot of bookkeeping, and I had we had this thing at work where it showed like what our tasks were we had to do, and we would cross them off as we finished them. And I had like 91 clients of my own, and that was more clients than anybody in that whole place had. And I was very busy there, and I really liked the work. The only thing is I'm not much of a professional, like office person. So sitting there in the office for 8 hours a day behind a computer was very, very hard for me. A lot of the jobs that I've had in the past have been warehouse jobs where you move around a lot. Um, I worked at a lot of grocery stores. I've worked at a lot of warehouses, and that's probably my favorite job is warehouses because you can say whatever you want. You can basically wear whatever you want. I like the work. I worked in this one place. It was a bookstore, and they actually have a book and a video store, a couple of them in the area, and they also have a warehouse where they do online shipments and stuff. And so I loved working there. Like put all the books away and put them in the computer. And what was really cool was the owner said we can have any books that we wanted. And since I'm a big reader, I used to have stacks and stacks of books on my computer. And I would probably blow almost my whole paycheck on books. It's a huge book collection. And that was a really cool job I had. Yeah, I've had a lot of jobs. So I held on to that job until I'd say, let's see, there's COVID in 2020, and probably the next year, 2021, is when I quit that job because um, during the time of COVID and stuff, like a lot of personal stuff happened in my relationships that I was like I wasn't doing very well mentally, so I started using again. Um, like I went back to Baltimore, and there wasn't any heroin left. Like I guess right after I stopped using in 2013, everything went to fentanyl. And so when I went back there, I started using fentanyl, um, and I started shooting up and stuff. And then I was working from home because of the COVID thing, and I had access to a lot of people's accounts and stuff for the accounting job. And I realized that I was getting bad with fentanyl again, and or that I was getting bad with the fentanyl, and I was starting to um, get the urge to get money not the honest way. So I was afraid that I was gonna have to, because like when I was in recovery, it was 7 years, and I did the steps, and I made my amends with everything. And so when I started using again, I kind of I tried, so I made the least damage that I could, because I knew I was gonna get clean again, and I didn't want to make those amends. Like I didn't want to be in trouble for stealing people's monies out of their accounts and stuff. So with that job, I called my manager, and I'm like, I am an opiate addict, and I started using again for the past couple months, and I'm afraid that something bad's going to happen with your clients. So I just want to let you know that I am gracefully retiring from this job. And he was very grateful I did that. And I'm very grateful I did that, because it could have been a mess. I mean, I could have had a lot of money to get high with, but I mean, I realized that like getting high, I mean, that lasts only a little bit, but like charges can last a while. I know that. So I was very grateful I quit that job before anything got too bad. Um, so I was so when I started going through the fentanyl withdrawal, because I wanted to quit using again, it was 1,000 times worse than getting off heroin. It was the craziest thing I'd ever been through. Like my body temperature, I couldn't tell whether I was hot or cold. Like if you felt me, I was burning up, but I'd be freezing. And I couldn't do the most basic things. I tried to put on a tank top, had no idea how that works. Like the straps were confusing me. I was just like I couldn't do anything. All I could do was lay there and feel sick, and um, I felt like I was jumping out of my skin. I felt hot and cold. I couldn't stop like moving my legs, and I couldn't stop moving around. All I wanted to do was feel better, and that's why it's so hard to get off of it, because especially opiate addicts, like they go to the ends of the earth not to go through withdrawal, because it really is the worst feeling. Like people say they can compare it to the flu, but it's way worse than that. I mean, the flu physically it sucks. Withdrawal physically it really, really, really sucks, especially if it's fentanyl. But the mental part of it is just like you can't stand it, and you'd rather be doing anything else than that. And especially if you have access to a way to get money and access to a way to get the drugs, you're gonna do it. Like I did not successfully get off the drugs by myself, so I had to find a methadone clinic, and um, so ever since then I've been on methadone. The first probably year and a half being on methadone, I was not very successful. I was still using, and I just I don't know. It was like, hey, now I can use it without getting sick, you know. So it took me a while to want to completely get off of it after I was on methadone. Um, because I was using every day, I had to go to the clinic every day and check in, and then I got arrested for it was for having a spoon with stuff on it, and they charged me with having the actual drugs, but it was just paraphernalia with stuff on it, with the leftovers on it. And so when I went to court for it, I tried telling the judge that I wasn't using in her county. I was using in Baltimore City, where being an addict is not a crime, and they don't crack down as hard on people who are using, because they're trying to help people as opposed to just throw them in jail. So I felt safer using in the city than I did where I lived, but I got caught where I lived, and I tried letting the judge know that I wasn't using in her county. I was using in the city, and I was trying to be respectful. And she completely freaked out on me and said, she's like, where is it legal to use drugs? I'm like, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying we're not demonized there. And I was trying to be respectful was my point. And she just got really angry and she threw me in jail for 3 days. And that's back when they didn't keep you on methadone in jail. And so that jail term sucked. I mean, I was in there for 3 days, but I was also homeless at the time. The place we were living at, I was giving, it was me and my boyfriend and his parents and his brothers, and we were giving his parents money, but they decided to move and not take us with them. I mean, we were using drugs, so I don't really blame them, but we didn't have anywhere to go. So we lived in my car for, it was about 6 months. It was during the summertime. It was 2022, I believe. Yeah, 2022. Living in the car for 6 months during the summer, and then his mother got sick, and his dad asked us to move in with them and to help take care of her. So we did that. We helped take care of her. She passed away last year, and after that, we started like paying rent where we were staying and stuff. And the landlord, so there was 7 of us living there. We were paying rent, and the landlord decided, oh, we can get more money from someone renting this place. So they decided to kick us all out right before Thanksgiving. And I guess now he's renting it out for more. And I'm back in my car with my boyfriend, and it's been since November. So it's been about 8, 9 months now. And I mean, I've been, oh, well, I did get arrested. I was on probation for 2 years, and I got through that successfully. I'm not on probation anymore. But while I was on probation, I couldn't use fentanyl anymore, obviously. So I got completely clean and just the methadone. And I did really well on the methadone. Still doing well on it. Still clean from it. All my urinalysis are clean, and I've been off of probation for about 3 months now, and still just on methadone. But I'm still in the car, and it's been interesting. And people will be like, "Well, you're still in the car. You must still be using," but that's not the truth. It's um, places around here are very expensive, and the money that I'm making is not going to allow me to rent anywhere. And obviously, I don't have good credit because of the drugs and everything, and so I don't. So me and my boyfriend don't really have an opportunity to, find a good place. I tried to get another job, but I'm having a lot of mental issues after the whole using and living with his family has been very taxing on my mental state, and I'm finding it very hard to get back on my feet again. And it's I've applied for help, and I'm waiting for that. And of course, it takes a couple of years for that. So so I live in the car, and we park at Walmart. And since it's summertime and it's really hot, I started. We got passes, like movie passes, so we're not out in the sun all day. So we've been watching a lot of movies this summer. Um, when we first got the movie passes in May, like we were going every day, like multiple times a day. But recently we backed off some because we've been staying Frederick, stay in Westminster, and we go back and forth. And the car that I have a car, but my dad's let me use his car because it has air conditioning in it. My car does not have air conditioning, and so the car that he let us borrow gets like 10 miles to the gallon. So we try not to drive around a lot. So when we're in, my clinic is about 45 minutes away. So sometimes I just stay up there, and I can't get down here. This is where the movie theater is here. That's why I'm here. Plus my family's here, and ever since I've stopped using, I've been trying to build a relationship with my family more because obviously when you're using, you can't really have good relationships. And I didn't want to really hurt my family members. I didn't want to steal from them. This time around when I was using, I stopped stealing and I stopped doing dirty things to get money because I know when I got clean, it took a very long time to make amends for it and to make up for it. So this time around, I stopped doing that. Like I said, I started making honest money, not doing things that takes a hit to my self-esteem and stuff. Like doing these videos is so much better than some of the other stuff out there I could be doing. I mean, I'm getting money for motel rooms and gas and food, and it's a struggle. I mean, it's been a real struggle, and I don't think I've struggled this much like getting back on my feet ever. And I've realized that the more times I go back out using, the harder it is to come back and get back on my feet. So that there's a lesson. But recently, I have a family member that is a landlord, and I didn't want to ask him for help until I knew that I'd be better at getting him money. So I talked to him. I've been talking to him this past month, and he said that he could help me out with a place and pay him a little bit up until I can get back on my feet and start paying him what he wants, which is actually way cheaper than anywhere else. I don't know why I didn't ask him for a place a long time ago because, I mean, it's not a family discount. He charges everybody a really cheap rate. I'm sure the places aren't that spectacular, but I mean, I live in my car. Anywhere is more spectacular than there, you know. So I'm looking forward to getting our own place after 10 months of being in the car. Um, a refrigerator, a bathroom. I mean, I'm actually very excited. Um, so I'm looking forward to that, and I think once I get the place, I'm not, I'm not, I'm not sure if I can get back into the traditional way of making money, like going to find a job and working for someone and blah blah. I think I'm a very creative person, so I know how to sew. I know how to do all kinds of stuff. So I was thinking, have my sewing machine in my apartment, and maybe like redo furniture. Have a little online store maybe. I'm not looking to make a bunch of money, and my expenses aren't going to be that much once I get into a place. So I think I could make money doing all that stuff and keep up with the bills. I mean, I'm looking forward to that. My boyfriend is going to make a very great housewife. He does all the cooking and cleaning. I do the laundry because I love clothes. I'm like a huge clothes person. I'm not really into like name brand stuff and the new fashions and all that. I'm into my own fashions and the way I like things to look. And throughout the years, like the way I dress, and like a lot of times I wear kitty ears and I wear all like accessories, but being in the car just doesn't doesn't let me do all that. So that's another reason why I'm excited to find a place, because I can start dressing up again and um, have all my stuff there. You know what I mean? But I have a good eye for fashion and stuff. So, and throughout the years, I've had a lot of compliments from people saying, "Oh wow, like you you have a different way of dressing." And I like seeing that. When I was growing up, my neighbor across the street used to make sure she woke up in time to see me going to the bus because she liked to see what I was wearing that day. And my grandmother used to have me come up to her house before I went to school. She's like, "Let me take pictures of your outfits." And so, like, I love clothes. I love putting together outfits. I love making different things to wear. So I think I'll probably be pretty successful at that. I do want to go back to school for psychology and stuff. So I do have some plans moving forward. Continue mending my relationships with my family after this last time I went out and used drugs. I'm actually working with people in the community with addiction and making that better for like recovery and stuff. So there's that. And it looks like I am about out of time. thank you for listening, and I hope you liked my story.